Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is Michelangelo's David Duke of Knee, Aaron Joseph Pita.
Hello, my fellow knight.
Yes. Of the
Round table.
Of the Californication clan.
Yeah, that's right.
Ooh, nice.
Stream of Californication, dude.
Yeah, dude.
David Duchovny.
Yes, that's right. That's why I said it, man.
It's pretty cool, man.
And who's that sitting over there?
Who's another white supremacist? That guy from the South who ran for president.
Oh, George Wallace?
Yeah. George, with the black comedian?
Yeah. Isn't that
strange?
Yeah.
Only in America.
Hell of a life.
I wonder if he's got a bit about it. That's handsome Matt Brousseau.
Hi.
There he is.
Hello.
Did you see David Duke endorse Jill Stein?
Oh.
First of all, David Duke is still around and relevant somehow.
Oh.
And what is he doing there? But somebody said it's funny. He's distancing himself from Trump. He doesn't want to taint himself by endorsing Trump.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
It's just too obvious with the Hitler stuff.
But who knows? Maybe Jill Stein's getting into racial stuff. Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah. So, what does green mean?
Stein.
Yeah. Gentlemen, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. After this, we're going to do a Patreon, yeah?
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
can join us on Patreon. Still $5 a month. As soon as I get finished moving, I'm going to change that to $7 a month. Join us there. We got an extra episode per week. And got a lot of comments to catch up on, I think.
Oh, boy.
And we have a real good time over there. We got the Discord community if you want to get involved in that. The Piss playoffs are still ongoing. I got to tally some totals. We're doing Brooke versus Hare and Shanghai Kelly.
Hey.
And so far, I think Shanghai is taking it. We'll see what happens. So, but for today, Aaron, it sounds like you have a very seasonal selection.
I do. We do have it's the reason for the season. We're coming up on All Hallows Eve, the scariest time of the year.
That's true.
And I figured, why not do friend of the show, friend of the pod. He's made many appearances, mainly on media and Patreon episodes.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the master of the macabre, Mr. Vincent Price.
Wow. I was wondering. I knew it was going to be that one.
Vincent Price.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know,
it'd be cool if you trailed off into just kind of occasionally giggling.
You can cook the fish in the dishwasher.
I can bone just about anything. Vincent Price, let me just tell you guys, this is not a spooky tale. This is just a nice, short, sweet tale about
All American.
All American, just a real mensch.
Okay.
All right. Vincent Price was born May 27th, 1911 in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
The youngest of 4 children to Vincent Leonard Price Sr. and Marguerite, his mother. Now, she taught at a progressive elementary school that she herself helped found.
Wow.
Daddy was the president of the National Candy Company and prominent member of the St. Louis Chamber of Commerce. His grandfather, Vincent Clarence Price, so a long line of Vincents.
Yes.
Invented Dr. Price's baking powder, which was the first cream of tartar-based baking powder, and it secured their family's fortune. So he was a well-to-do young lad.
Yes. Now here we start with baking, then we go to the National Candy Company, and then Vincent, the youngest, of course, gets into the business of Halloween.
Of course.
Very candy adjacent.
Very candy adjacent.
So he's really kind of securing his wealth.
Yes, and he's come from a long lineage of
entrepreneurs?
A long lineage of food-based people.
Okay.
And he himself, as you'll find out, would continue that.
Yeah.
Other than the obvious Halloween candy.
Well, I was thinking about the fish.
Yeah, same.
And you're not far off, John. Or Matt. He was of Welsh and English descent and was a descendant via his paternal grandmother of Peregrine White. Now, do you know who Peregrine White was?
I don't know who that is.
No.
The first child born in colonial Massachusetts, being born on the Mayflower while it was in Provincetown Harbor.
Wow.
How about that? Does it get more American than that?
No. The answer is no.
The Mayflower.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. No wonder he's dealing in powdered goods.
Yes.
Yeah, hardtack, stuff like that.
If you want to see macabre, wait till you see what we did to the natives.
Wait till you see below deck. Quiet, dude, down there. Now, from an early age, Vincent showed quite an interest in the arts.
Okay.
Okay, while most kids were saving their pennies for marbles or jacks or Bazooka Joe, or well, he didn't have to save money for Bazooka.
No,
he had
didn't,
candy at home.
Yeah.
But he was into something a little more. What would you say? Worldly, erudite. At $12, he put a $5 down payment on an original Rembrandt etching
Holy shit.
called Two Nude Models, One Standing.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if he was looking to get his rocks off.
Oh, I don't know either. I bet. Wait, how old was he when he got this?
12. I
Oh
believe.
yeah, he was jacking it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, and that's a good one to jack.
Yeah, and I think in total, I think he paid $35.
Only one. And it doesn't say what the other one is doing.
No.
One is standing.
One's standing. The other one's soaked in piss.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Could be.
Hard to capture that in an etching, but
Yeah, that's why he's Rembrandt.
Yeah. He didn't get there by accident.
that's the toothpaste guy, right? Now he attended the St. Louis Country Day School. Took a summer course at Milford Academy in Connecticut. So he was, schooled.
Mm-hmm.
He went to university, and in 1933, he graduated with a degree in English and a minor in art history from where? Yale University.
Huh.
Heard of it?
Part of that whole Yale thing.
Yeah.
What's the whole Yale thing?
What?
What's the whole Yale thing?
Oh, it's a quote from a movie.
I know it is. I know
What
it
is it from?
It's from American Psycho.
Yeah.
He's talking about Paul Allen. He said he was a part of that whole Yale thing.
Right.
And then he goes, what Yale? And he goes, well, I hear it's a lot of cocaine and gay sex.
Cool.
That kind of Yale thing. He worked on the campus humor magazine, The Yale Record. Now, 1933, despite an Ivy League degree, jobs were pretty hard to come by, I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
We'll work for baking powder. We'll work for Bazooka Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being the Depression and all. So he took a teaching job at the Riverdale School on the Hudson in New York. And after teaching for a year, he entered the prestigious Courtauld Institute of Art in London, England.
Nice.
Okay.
Intending to study for his master's degree in fine arts. But there, he was a little bit distracted when he saw
Co-eds.
he saw the play Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved it so much. This particular performance of it, he saw it 12 times.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like Endgame for this guy.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah. Wait till Spider-Man shows up.
Mr. Stark? So, well, actually, there is kind of
I know
a
this is
Yorick
something-
scene in Endgame when he's talking to his face mask. It is kind of like Hamlet's soliloquy to poor Yorick, who, alas, he knew well.
Mm-hmm.
He decided he would maybe kind of scratch this itch, pursue this unrealized, what would you say, interest?
Uh-huh.
The secret dream.
I want to be up there.
I want down here.
Yes.
It stinks. So he joined the theater club, and he landed the male lead in a play called Victoria Regina,
Okay.
which means the Queen Victoria, basically. Now you got to know this about Mr. Vincent Price. He was 6'4" with wavy blonde hair.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, he was a tall
Blonde guy.
drink of tall glass of blood, tall glass of water.
All
Sure.
pile
Yeah,
of
blonde,
powder.
as blonde as I am.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah, but I guess I just always think of him as a dark figure.
Right.
So
That's what he wanted you to think.
yeah.
a lot of wigs, masks.
And wigs.
Then what happened was that play was quite successful, and it went to Broadway from London, England. And it made the cover of Time magazine.
Holy shit.
It was a hit.
Yeah.
And he was the lead in basically the first thing he was ever in. And it made him like famous as a stage actor.
You're shitting me, really?
It's like if, who's the fella from Hamilton who went on to be in oh gosh, what's his name? I know
who you're thinking of.
The curly hair guy, the guy that played the Marquis de Lafayette.
Yes.
He wasn't really a stage actor guy before. He had done some acting and a lot of spoken word poetry.
Yeah, he was
stuff.
a musician.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
And then he gets hooked up with Hamilton. He earns the role, of course, but it just blows up, and all of a sudden he's a superstar overnight.
Right.
Yeah. In fairness, his like thing on the underground music scene was
noted.
It was. Yeah, he was on like a lot of Adult Swim compilations.
Oh,
and stuff
okay.
like that,
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of an avant-garde noise adjacent.
And he was opposite. He played opposite Broadway superstar Helen Hayes. No idea who she is or who she was, but apparently she was famous.
Well, no profile about her, I'll tell you that.
No, we don't have that kind of thing.
Turns out she's a total sicko.
She was a model for that Rembrandt.
She started the original Freak Offs.
Yeah, Diddy's got nothing on the Hayes party.
You should have seen what they put in the lube bottles over there.
Baking powder.
The play went on tour, but he decided to stay in New York,
Okay.
where he got an offer from a small little upstart theater company called the Mercury Theater Company.
Oh, really?
Now, that was run by a precocious 22-year-old actor-director. You know who that might have been?
No.
Orson Welles.
Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so he worked with Orson Welles in New York, playing some summer stock and etc. Other plays at the Mercury Theater Company, and that's where he met. Well, I don't know if it was but he did meet Edith Barrett, an actress, while doing some summer stock, and they married in April of 1938. That same year, Hollywood came calling, baby.
Oh man!
Ring, ring, ring. Who's this? Hollywood. Yes. And he signed a contract with Universal Pictures. This is during the studio system era.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course. What year is this now?
1938. So
Okay.
he's 27.
Right.
Youngman.
Already had some success working with Orson Welles. Also.
Yeah.
Very-
You know, I discovered Vincent Price. Now he's doing all that Drek. Zombie shit and stuff like that.
He's not scary to
Real
me.
crap.
I mean, they're eating brains. I ate brains once in Morocco.
Yeah.
Monkey brain soup. Soup.
It was delicious. Made me go crazy.
Don't make a fucking federal case out of the stoop. It was a screwball comedy romance kind of type of thing called Service Deluxe, moderate hit. Cast in 4 more films at Universal, but he left the studio as he was unsatisfied with these one-dimensional matinee idol kind of parts with Universal. And so in 1940, he signed a 7-year contract with 20th Century Fox. Heard of it?
Oh yeah.
Then he starred in some more artistically satisfying pictures. Same year, 1940, he had a son, Vincent Barrett Price, a long continuing Vincent going.
I guess you got to do it at that point.
You gotta, I mean, come on. And then at this point, he took a pretty big gamble in his career because through a clause in his contract, he was able to take time off to do plays on Broadway. So he's made he stepped up his career a little bit by being in some more satisfying roles, not just your, rom-com type of fare. And he's stepping away a little bit to do.
Does he go back to Orson?
He does go to Broadway.
Okay.
And this is December 19.
They chewed you up and spit you out.
And then you came back running back to daddy, huh?
That'll never happen to me.
I always swallow, baby. That was December 1941.
Oh.
Well, obviously, right thing's on the way. Huh?
So
Big thing,
He took a role.
Was that the infamy Roosevelt was talking about?
Yeah.
He took this starring role as a suave murderer in a psychological thriller called Angel Street.
Cool.
a version of the English play Gaslight. Now, I don't know if it's the same thing that the movie Gaslight was made out of, which gives us the term gaslighting. But it was a hit before and during, after all that.
Right.
That it opened like December 1st, 1941.
Ouch.
And so the thing was, people, we still hadn't gone to war yet.
Right.
The War Machine hadn't started, but
people didn't want like downer stuff.
They didn't want downer stuff, but they did want to hate a common enemy.
Ah.
So him having this character who was echoing dastardly, fascistic,
okay,
sneaky, and charismatic.
Oh yeah.
Themes. The audience loved it.
Yeah. They ate it up.
They lapped it up. They were hissing at him and booing him on stage, but because his performance was so deliciously evil.
Yeah.
And they had this, lightning rod that they could spew their emotion at. And he loved it. He was like, these are the roles I like to play.
Mm-hmm.
So he.
Like, do you hear them out there? I'll be leaving through the alley, I think, tonight.
I shall transform into a pile of rats. So he returns to Hollywood, big dick swinging.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Now I don't have an answer as to why he was not drafted.
Okay.
He's of the age.
Right.
He's in his late 20s, early 30s. He's on the higher end of the draft
Right.
age.
Well, maybe they would have drafted him later.
I think I read in one place that he may have said he was colorblind.
Okay.
That won't do in the army, I'll tell you that. Especially the segregated army.
Well, you can't be that colorblind.
No.
But the pictures are all in black and white anyway.
He started a number of films during this time. Murder Mystery. Laura was one of his personal favorites. His role in Dragonwyck was something of note that set him on a path down this kind of, let's say, B-movie / proto-horror stuff.
Sure.
Gothic horror.
Yeah.
Okay.
He received top billing in Shock, which was produced as a B-movie, but was so successful it was moved up to A houses. His first venture into the horror genre was in the Boris Karloff film Tower of London.
Yes.
This was about a year or two before Dragonwyck, but that was his first horror film, and it had Boris Karloff in it, so it's of note. Then he played the title character in The Invisible Man Returns.
Yes.
A role he reprised in a voice-only cameo in the closing scene of the horror comedy spoof Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh, that's great.
He went on to do, like I said, Dragonwyck. And then he did some noir thrillers like The Web and The Long Night, Rogue's Regiment, The Bribe, with Robert Taylor, Ava Gardner, Charles Lawton.
Oh.
Hello. Interesting culinary habits there, Charles. It was Charles, right?
Who
ate the shit sandwich?
Oh yeah. Charles Lawton.
You can cook that in the dishwasher.
I did my first nude scene in Invisible Man.
They blew baby powder on it. You could see the outline of the silhouette.
You can see my Dragonwyck the whole time.
At this point in 1948, his marriage was getting strained. He divorced from Edith. It was very hard on him because he lost custody of his son.
Oh, Vincent.
Yes.
Little Vincent.
He found himself quite lonely, and he adopted one of his great longtime companions, his dog Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I'm a bit lonely. Whom he would later write a book about called The Book of Joe.
God damn.
About a dog and his man.
Oh my God!
about a dog and his man.
Oh, man, that's breaking my heart.
Isn't that the sweetest thing?
Oh,
He wrote a book about his fucking dog,
man,
dude.
dude, I'm tearing up over here.
However, he and Joe weren't alone for long, as Vincent married costume designer Mary Grant in 1949. They shared many interests, John,
Oh, really?
including gourmet cooking,
Oh, yeah.
and they would go on to collaborate on a book of recipes.
Mm.
They were well known for entertaining friends in their art-filled home and serving dishes they made themselves. He had a place in Benedict Canyon. Heard of it?
Oh, yeah.
Benedict Canyon, Los Angeles. Beautiful.
Okay.
He was an avid art collector.
So where is Benedict Canyon?
Kind of.
Because I've only heard of it.
It's the road that goes basically up to the Hollywood sign.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like
okay.
in.
Right, you're not like
It's-
out of Hollywood, but
Yeah.
you're not in the valley,
and you're not Los Feliz.
Yeah, you're not in Franklin Village,
right.
whatever.
But
yeah.
it's like the in between.
Griffith Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
sure.
definitely fucking nice. How iconic too,
Yeah.
just to live below the fucking Hollywood sign.
Pretty fucking tight.
Oh.
Might have been Hollywood Land at that point, right?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
He had a lot of friends. Dennis Hopper was one of them. Dennis Hopper
Cool.
hung out at his place all the time.
Oh man.
All the time.
Hey Vince, can I come over?
I mean, yeah, if he's doing those psychedelic drugs with all that art, that's a pretty nice.
Daddy wants to come. Is that him?
Baby wants to fuck.
Baby wants to fuck. Daddy wants to come.
Yeah, everybody wants something.
I tell you, people always come here. They always want something. Either the dishwasher poached fish or the cum.
Don't even ask me what Charles wants.
Sorry, fresh out. Hold on, let me call Joe in here. Joe, Charles wants a sandwich. Here, boy.
It's homemade.
Just got back from Vince's place. He said I gave him the creeps.
Meanwhile, Chuck is over there dining it into a pooch turd's panini.
These guys are crazy.
I wonder what the fucking age difference must have been there. How old is Dennis Hopper then?
Dennis Hopper was born, I think, in the 30s.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, we're moving.
Right, we're in the 40s now.
Yeah.
He's born 1911.
Yeah, I mean, the Dennis Hopper thing may have been later in the 50s and 60s.
Got it.
He would start becoming like, as famous in certain circles for his movie roles as he would as being like an elite level art
Entertainer.
entertainer.
Yeah.
An art collector.
You're right. You're art collector,
Yeah.
absolutely, as well as gourmet chef.
Yeah.
Like this guy was a Renaissance man.
Wow.
Excuse me. He was so knowledgeable in art that he was a contestant on the $64,000 challenge.
Oh, yeah. Great show.
Yeah, and won. And he was a great evangelist of the arts.
Oh, wow.
1951, he accepted an invitation from the students of East LA College over there in Monterey Park. You know where, John? To lecture on the aesthetic responsibilities of the citizen. He was well received and enjoyed. He was so enthused by the enthusiasm of the largely Latino student base, and I guess surprised by it and inspired by it, he donated 90 of his own personal pieces to the college along with the monies to support it. It is now known as the Vincent Price Museum at East LA College.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Cool. No idea.
Let's see here. He and his wife would they would buy some of the first mobile homes.
Okay.
And they would entertain guests. They'd pack up a bunch of food and wine. They'd go drive out to Leo Carrillo or the Malibu area,
Uh-huh.
cook for them with a beautiful sunset, and then come on back home to Benedict Canyon.
Wow.
1953, Price finally started an all-out horror film, kind of the revitalization of the genre, House of Wax.
Mm.
One of the earliest films to employ the new, what they called 3D process. It was one of the first 3D films designed to compete with television. You know, the silver screen had to start, setting itself apart.
Bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of, we'll get to more of the bells and whistles that would go on in some of these movies. He said it was a difficult shoot. Due to the cumbersome 3D cameras, the tight shooting schedule, and the uncomfortable makeup, I drank many liquids because of the running around and the makeup. I fainted one day from lack of oxygen.
Jesus Christ.
He noted during the making of the film. And if you watch the film too, like, there's just Vincent Price, like, in a burning room, like, that's on fire, and they're just fighting each other in a room that's on fire and breaking through railing. Like, it's not stunt shit. It's him.
Yeah.
Giant 6'4" creepo.
Fuck.
It was.
And he's naked the whole time.
Yeah. Well, no,
emotionally.
that was just Invisible Man.
You know, there's a remake of 1933's Mystery of the Wax Museum.
Oh, no.
One of the top 10 films at the box office that year, The House of Wax was. And that's what really made him into the horror star that he would go on to go on to be known as.
Yeah.
Over the next couple of years, he would go on to star in The Mad Magician, Son of Sinbad, The Ten Commandments. He was the architect Baka.
Oh, really?
Episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Fly, House on Haunted Hill, Return of the Fly,
With Vincent Price.
The Tingler, which was another gimmick movie.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, because after 3D was successful, they were like, let's try other stuff. So they would even try stuff of like, like Scratch and Sniff would be one. Even having like
A skeleton fly through the crowd.
I remember one. God, I had a movie that was. It was they were trying to do what do you call it? Subliminal. And it was a black and white one, and you would be like, oh, like one frame was just like a snake or something.
Cool.
And it was just supposed to like add up throughout the movie and eventually get to you. But that was another gimmick they tried. I think they called it Terror Vision.
Yeah.
So it'd just like flash a skull in the middle of the movie, and then the movie would continue and stuff like that.
The Tingler, they would put they would intentionally cancel showings, saying that they were too terrifying.
Amazing.
Brilliant. The
really good idea.
Tingler itself was a creature that fed off fear, in a way, and so they would encourage the audience to scream, and then they also employed electric buzzers underneath the seats.
I knew it was something with sensation.
Yeah, those were the Tinglers.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm just having an orgasm the whole time.
And also the Bat. Now, come 1960, perhaps the films that most solidified his legacy as a horror icon are his collaborations with the AIP, American International Pictures.
Oh, really?
Particularly their Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, directed by who?
Orson Welles?
The legendary.
Is it Corman?
It's Roger Corman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Beginning with The House of Usher in 1960, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Raven, Mask of Red Death is a notable one.
Man, I gotta see those.
Yeah, Mask of Red Death is good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like almost Argento Technicolor stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. And probably did it on a tenth of the budget in half the time.
Yeah.
But this is when you watch these particularly these ones, you see what Roger Corman can do on a budget and more than 2 weeks of filming time.
Yeah, he never lost money.
Never lost money and never was
made over 100 films.
Yeah. And he never went long either. He always shot it within schedule.
Yeah. And just nurtured so much talent.
If you went to the School of Corman, I think we talked about it. We went through the list.
Yeah.
Culminated with The Tomb of Ligeia in 1964. He starred in all but one of the 8 films that were officially part of this AIP Poe cycle. They put more time and money into these movies and filmed them in color and widescreen. They were very modern looking. The gambles paid off, and they were all great successes. The Pit and the Pendulum is still the most successful from 1961, and The Mask of Red Death is considered a masterpiece of the genre. While there, he had a chance to reconnect and co-star with a number of old friends, including Boris Karloff and Peter Lorre.
Oh,
yeah. They're
those guys ordering food would be the
Vincent, would you like the Mugu Gai Pan? I'm more of a I'll tell you, Peter. I can't do it. I can't go between them. Fuck. I'm more of a General So's, man. Let's see. And also, these Poe quote-unquote adaptations, like...
Very loose
adaptations. Sure. And they didn't have to pay IP rights because it was part of public domain by that point. So you could take the Raven, or you could... I think Raven is what he was in Karloff and and Laurie. They were together.
What was Laurie's big one? Was he the Wolfman, or was that Karloff also?
No, that was Lon Chaney.
Okay,
Junior.
got it. Yes.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, because you saw Walking with the Queen, the Werewolves of London.
Right.
Peter Lorre was...
Karloff was also the Mummy.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I forget what Laurie did.
Peter Lorre, small guy. He was in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Mm-hmm.
He was in... what was that one where he had the crazy head?
I thought he had one of
Mad Love.
I thought he had one of the big Universal ones.
He was like an Igor type of character.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But that was never the character's name. Was never Igor in Frankenstein.
Right. Yeah.
But he was that guy.
Right.
Bug-eyed, short, German.
The face behind the mask.
I know Mad Love for sure. I know Arsenic and Old Lace for sure.
The Raven.
The Raven is the one he was in with Boris Karloff and Vincent Price. And he
Beast with 5 fingers.
Yep. Yep. Besides the Poe films, during this time, he starred in the first film adaptation of Richard Matheson's I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Titled
Last Man on Earth.
That's right.
And he's very straight in that.
Yes, and it is
the most faithful adaptation.
It's the most faithful adaptation and
to the book.
Widely considered one of his best performances. Yeah. He was in 2 Dr. Goldfoot movies, one of them directed by Mario Bava, and made a number of television appearances, most notably as Egghead on Batman.
Hell yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, Egghead is so stupid.
Yeah.
But he knew, the show was pure camp, and he knew it, of course.
Of course.
And everyone knew it. And everyone was making cameos on that show.
Yeah.
It was the show to be on.
Yeah, it was a real swinging fun time.
It sure was, Batman.
Yeah.
I mean...
Because they were, fucking everybody, too, right? Didn't Robin write a book?
Robin had a big old hog. They had to tape it down, and his dick was too big in those little tights.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were fucking everybody. It was a good swinging old time. Eartha Kitt. And then that other Catwoman were there, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, my God.
Burgess Meredith. There he is as Egghead.
Nice.
Everything, my career is extinct. Excellent.
Yeah.
The yoke's on you, Batman. That type of shit.
Terrible.
I mean, just humiliating. But he knew, if you wanted to stay current, really, you got to get with the new fan.
Of course.
This is a guy, he's been in movies since the 30s.
Yeah,
it's
a
now
hot show.
30 years later. It was the hottest show on TV.
Yeah.
And it's also the most gothic superhero thing you can do.
It is. I mean, at the time it wasn't,
Right.
but,
just from the comic book genre.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the character is a Batman,
Yeah.
and if later adaptation, maybe the Egghead character now would have some sort of gritty reboot
Yeah.
style heir to a chicken hatchery, weaponized bird flu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Deformed encephalitis.
Soft-boiled brain.
Yeah.
He's got a metal steel plate in his skull. I mean,
Big crack in his head.
Believe me, we'll figure something out.
we're going to pitch this to Matt Reeves. Don't you forget about that one. Next season of The Penguin on Max.
Yeah. Have you guys thought about Egghead?
Yep. No, he did not serve in the military, but he did serve on the Indian Arts and Crafts Board in the Department of the Interior.
Okay.
1957, he was appointed to the board and eventually became its chairman. His responsibilities included managing 2 museums dedicated to Native American art and helping develop policies to support the economic well-being of Native Americans through traditional arts and crafts.
Oh.
For a guy who's descended from the folks of the Mayflower, he was very, very much into Native American art. I think he had a totem pole on his property at Benedict Canyon. He had a big part of his collection, from what I understand, was a lot of art from Native Americans.
Okay.
Got a lot of beads and shit.
Shells. Eggshell.
Wampum. Wampum.
Mo wampum. Let's see. He was eventually investigated by the FBI for his possible ties to the Communist Party.
Uh-oh.
The FBI's investigation negatively impacted his career for a point. 50s. In response, he wrote a 5-page letter to the FBI to refute the allegations and explain his political views. Now, I will say, he was also one of the very early pro-Hitler people for like a month.
Okay.
And then was one of the first anti-Hitler and anti-Nazi people for the rest of his life.
I hadn't looked anything up.
Well,
I got bad intel.
he was into like the Weimar Republic.
Well, yeah, and it had more socialist associations, and there
was a charismatic guy who was talking about doing good things for the workers of Germany.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's as far as it got with him. And then he appointed himself chancellor for all that. Then it was just it was over for him.
Yeah, populism is popular.
Yeah. And so anyways, FBI investigates him for communist leanings and whatever. And let's see,
He's like, I was even into Hitler for a minute.
I mean, how anti-communist can you get, boys, huh?
Just for the demo tape, though. Nothing after that. After that, I thought he was rubbish.
I didn't like the live stuff.
For example.
The joke's on you, Fed. I'm a Hitler guy.
I won't crack under pressure. Hitler really likes the whites. In Vincent Price, A Daughter's Biography, his daughter...
Wait, one more.
You can beat me all you like.
When I was on that Batman show, I got laid a lot.
I'm letting you in a secret.
So...
My messages are scrambled.
I won't give it over easy. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I did not get it.
Wait, what did you say?
I'm letting you in a little secret.
Yeah, okay.
Wait. What is the joke?
Omelet.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It went over my egghead right away.
Damn.
I'm a little frittarded. I'm gonna keep going with this all night, fellas. In Vincent Price, A Daughter's Biography, she writes that when her father was asked to speak publicly about the McCarthy era, he professed anger at his peers who had given names, sorrows for friends whose lives had been destroyed, and admiration for those who had stood up to McCarthy. But he kept his own story to himself, just as he kept all of the documents, including the letter to the FBI. That letter would eventually come out, and it states the following. To whom it may concern, I wish to state that I am not now and never have been a member of the Communist Party. I am not in sympathy with communist ideologies, and I believe that totalitarianism in any form is against the ideals of the American way of life. I will work and think to preserve the Constitution of the United States against the encroachment of any communist or other than American ideology. I have never joined or worked for any organization that I knew was a communist organization or communist-dominated in any other way or subversive. To sum up, I realize now that many organizations were using actors and artists through their natural desire to help a cause, to help spread subtle ideologies of communism. But I can honestly state that I never spread any communistic doctrine and that I belonged to or worked for the above-listed organizations with no knowledge of their Communist Front activities. I would further like to add that I believe people who stand on the Fifth Amendment to cover up treasonable activity should be considered subversive and dealt with accordingly.
What a fucking narc.
I state all the above in earnest desire to right an unintended wrong and to be able to continue my devotion to country with no question of my loyalty and love for, signed Vincent Price. P.S.
Quiche me if you can. To each according to his need. Teach me if you can.
I mean,
Queers.
how many episodes could you have? We've run them through them all.
P.S.
No PS.
Okay.
P.S.
I thought there was a P.S.
No, I was gonna make an eggplant.
I'm sorry, I stepped on it.
No, I didn't have one, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
You had me cracking up.
I think he sounds well. It's just like the heat is on, but like it's just such a crazy thing, and we're not going to go down this thing too long. But defining what the American way is,
Right, yeah.
when that changes generationally, is such a wild time.
Yeah.
You know, like
But we
all got to get with this one thing.
right. I think he's what he's saying. He's saying, what do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll say the American way of life is great. Communism sucks. I know, like.
But he's also saying like using your constitutional rights is
saying the Fifth Amendment is for fucking treasonous assholes. Kind of shitty.
Yeah, good. Are you a patriot or not? It's in the Constitution. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
right.
also like saying I do believe that there's subversive messages. So like it was just back then. Like if a guy had a kind message in a movie, they were like, oh, he's a fucking fruity, fucking gay, fucking communist.
Yeah.
Just because he like is that what It's a Wonderful Life? Is there even a more communist movie than It's a Wonderful Life? The whole town bails out one guy according to his need?
No, they bailed out a banker, dude.
Yeah,
It's the least communist movie.
Oh. Yeah, kinda. I mean,
Hey, that guy with all the money needs some money.
yeah. I mean, he got screwed by a big banker.
That's right, the bigger banker.
Yeah. Well.
Oh.
Well, I'll jump off this bridge.
Doesn't it sound nice? Dozen eggs.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
In the early 60s, he was given a few more opportunities as well. He was selected to serve on President Kennedy's White House Fine Arts Committee.
Oh, wow.
Became the spokesman for the California Wine Institute.
Oh.
And signed a contract, become
Orson Welles was not a fan of that.
the
What, big on the wine thing?
There is a California chef. Shut up, Orson. I'm the gourmand around here.
This one tastes like Charles Lawton would love it.
Here, Orson, have some. Magnificent! One of the things he was most particularly enthusiastic about was a contract he signed with Sears and Roebuck Company
Yeah.
to become their art buyer, and started the Vincent Price collection with Sears.
Oh, okay.
Which was intended to make original and reproduction art pieces available to everyone
Wow.
in their homes, not just the wealthy. So he would go out,
Yeah.
secure originals from up-and-coming artists.
Is that 50s too?
60s.
60s?
Yeah. This is when his daughter Victoria would be born. This is who wrote the biography, called The Daughter's Biography, Vincent Price. She was born in 1962. She was named after his first big play, Victoria Regina.
Oh.
Yes.
nice.
It's better than Regina.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think she would get into Reginas, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, acting.
Yeah. The Vincent Price collection was a pretty huge thing, a very successful thing.
For Sears.
Yeah, and for
Him.
art and him, it was one of the things he was most proudest about.
Yeah, because it gets it into common. Like the thing is like art should want to be seen. It should not be elite and exclusive.
Exactly. And he was giving young, up and coming artists a platform.
Right. Yeah, and I suppose maybe a commercialization later, more Andy Warhol-ish, like a factory kind of thing.
I don't know.
You know
I don't
what
know.
mean?
But he did also get reproductions. Like, hey, you want a fucking Rembrandt etching of the two naked broads? I'll get you that.
Yeah, look.
$12.
Look at this one. She's standing up.
This one's fisting.
It's wet.
Now, he was not only a master thespian and a fine expert art enthusiast and evangelist, he was also a gourmet chef and an author, guys.
Yes.
Avid deep-sea fisher. Would take his daughter off fishing on their boat off the coast of Malibu there, go out fishing, come back, and fucking poach it in the dishwasher, and have a good old time.
Well, yeah.
We're referencing there one of his appearances on Johnny Carson, which we've played on the show before.
Yeah, on the media episodes.
They You cook this wonderful halibut here in the dishwasher, and then first you got to bone the fish, Johnny. Bone the fish.
You're going to have to bone the fish.
I'll just bone just about anything. And they take a couple swigs from the cooking wine. It's a great classic Carson appearance by Vincent.
Johnny's got on like a powder blue suit.
Oh, checkered. It's like it's
the best.
His suits were delirious in that time.
Here's a list of some of the books. A treasury of great recipes. Mary and Vincent Price present a national treasury of cookery. Cooking Price-wise.
Oh, yeah, that's
Which
nice.
was also a TV series in England.
Oh. Yeah.
Come into the kitchen cookbook. A collector's treasury.
I'm into it.
Yeah?
Well, he wasn't going to take Lawton's route.
Yeah.
Those aren't egg whites by Vincent Price. Come into the kitchen cookbook, a collector's treasury of America's great recipes. The Book of Joe, the story of a dog and his man.
God, that's so sweet.
I Like What I Know, a visual autobiography.
I like what I know.
A visual autobiography. Here are pictures of me.
Monsters, which he wrote with his son, which is basically like a little compendium encyclopedia of monsters
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
that he did with Vincent III. Wow. Or fourth. Vincent Price, his movies, his plays, his life. A treasury of American art. He would also record a number of audio cooking tutorials. Now, we also did one of the media episodes. We did some of the act along with Vincent Price records, which were incredible.
Yeah.
Again, just getting the art, just getting it out to people.
Yeah.
Hey, partake in this thing that I love so much.
I'll do it with you.
Hey, invite me into your home.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, and I'll get back to, like, there's a couple of biography, like one A&E biography. There's one biography that only ever aired once because they didn't secure rights to all the clips, but you can still get it online.
Oh, nice.
All the interviews, Corman, Hopper, his daughter, everybody who worked with him was like, we would go out to dinner in Hollywood somewhere, and like he would go up and talk to people. Like he would approach people going, "What are you having there?"
Yeah.
Hey, that's wonderful. What about
He's just doing Eggman jokes.
Dude, he just and the walrus. Cuckoo, ka-choo. Orson's the walrus. Oh, brother. I love myself a good hard-boiled detective story, Batman.
What do you have to drink, Dennis?
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
I'll have a Chardonnay. He just was so gregarious and interested in what you had to say, and like never turned anybody away. He wanted to talk to him. He wanted to talk to people.
Yeah, natural curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kind of wanted like. I'll get to it later. He recorded a number of these audio cookbook cooking tutorials. International Cooking Course, Bounty of Paradise, Classical Spanish Cuisine, Cucina Italiana, Delights from the Sultan's Pantry,
Ooh.
Dinner at the Casbah, Dining at Versailles, Exotic Delights from the Far East, Food of the Gods, Food from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, La Cocina Mexicana, The Bard's Board, and The Wok.
Wow.
He also recorded an audio wine course. Wine is elegance.
Wow, we gotta find that.
Recorded on 33 LPs by Nelson Industries in 1977. Also
On 33?
Yeah, 33 and a third. Yeah.
Oh, a long playing LP.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought you meant there was 33 volumes.
No, they released in a 12 cassette box set called the Beverly Hills Cookbook of the Rich and Famous. Your host Vincent Price.
12 cassettes, so that's probably at least 12 hours.
Yeah. Double sided. Yeah. Flip it over.
It could be 33 LPs.
But it was they were released on 33 on a third.
Of course, yeah. That's a regular long playing.
Yeah.
So with stuff like that, with the spoken word kind of stuff, they would
If you play it backwards, he tells you how to eat a meal.
in the nude. Flip side.
The more spoken word stuff. There was a setting that went out of fashion because there was less of it, I guess. But it would go down to 16. So then you could get a slower groove going through, so you could fit more time on.
Interesting. And there's not as much, I guess we say, sonic data to record. It's not. It doesn't need to be as
well. It's just
because it's just the voice.
It's like if you played it at a regular speed, it would just be like hearing a fast cassette. But when you put it on that slow, then the grooves you get more time to do the spoken word stuff. But I think that's like only like, it'd be like on one of those ones that's like the size of a sofa.
Yeah,
that's the only time I've seen that available as an option in a record player. But it is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because also if you put on, like a killer song and you want to hear like the Sabbath version,
yeah,
you want to hear Sabbath do fucking, Oh, if you do that to the Chipmunks, it's just a regular band.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's really good.
It sounds like the Beach Boys.
Yeah. It's so cool.
In 1982, he co-hosted A Taste of China for Thames Television over 5.
I think I rented that on.
Yeah, was that porno?
Yeah, wrestler.
It was One Night in China. I think it was called. Or
Bangkok.
Not China. It's Thailand.
What did I say?
Oh,
what?
Nice. He also prepared a fish recipe on Wolfgang Puck's Cooking with Wolfgang Puck VHS, released in October 1987. He was hanging out with Lillian Hellman and Dorothy Parker and became an advocate for racial and religious freedom and rights. He was oh gosh, what was that fucking bitch's name?
Okay.
Who was that country singer who did?
Oh, okay.
who went out and had that huge anti-gay? I have her in here somewhere. Oh, Anita Bryant.
Oh, Anita Bryant.
He publicly denounced her and her gay crusade back in the 80s when she, his daughter would later come out as a lesbian.
Ah.
When she came out to him, he was immediately supportive and even confided in her about his many deep and emotional relationships with men. Although he never explicitly said that he had any homosexual experiences. She would later go on to say that I was pretty sure that he did have them.
Yeah.
But there just wasn't a word for bisexual.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is sometimes, in the kitchen, the ingredients get a little mixed up. If you get my meaning, sweet child.
I'll eat anything.
Everybody asked me, was your dad bisexual? Was he bisexual?
Everybody asked me.
And it was Roddy McDowell.
Everybody asked me that too.
Roddy McDowell was a great friend of his as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was Roddy McDowell who said to me, we didn't have any idea what bisexuality meant in that sense. And if we didn't know, how can we answer that question?
They simply get me excited.
All of them.
Good guys.
Dozens of folks.
Solid dudes. He established the Vincent Price Awards in Creative Writing, which are given annually at the Institute of American Indian Arts in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
He does so much shit.
He was a member of the Indian Arts and Crafts Board and supporter of the IAA. Was known for his appreciation of Native American art, and his belief was that Santa Fe was a hub for it, hence creating this Creative Writing Award, which is still given out every year. Let's see. Just like a real Renaissance man, and like straight up good, sweet dude. In the late 1960s, he started becoming disenchanted with the roles he was getting with AIP.
Just too much of the same.
Too much of the same, and he was also concerned about the rising violence and gore starting to get popular in horror movies.
Yeah.
And but he still stayed with him for a while. One of the best movies he ever made was one that he really didn't like very much, which was Witchfinder General in 1968.
I know the name.
Gothic horror, kind of witch hunting, also called The Worm, I think, or The Conqueror Worm.
Okay. Witchfinder General is definitely the title I know.
Yeah,
it's also the better name.
Conqueror Worm was something else you watched on one of VHS or whatever.
Probably.
Spice. Vincent Price
Because of
with
the worm?
Spice
Yeah, the
Channel.
worm, yeah.
No, I thought you were,
Spice, is it cooking?
I thought you were making a Dune joke.
yeah.
A what?
A Dune
Oh,
joke.
cool.
Spice, because it's a worm.
No. Porn.
Spice on arrakis.
Mm.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are excellent Arakisian cuisine. The lisan al gaib salad is excellent this time of year. It's mostly saliva.
Some sand.
Let's see. It was bleak and brutal. Then he went on to do the abominable Dr. Phibes and its sequel, Dr. Phibes Rise Again.
Right.
I think you and I might have talked about it before.
Yeah, is that kind of around 68 now?
Yeah, 71.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's getting into like where the horror genre,
It's going to jump into overdrive.
it jumps into overdrive with like Texas Chainsaw. And,
Yeah, so that's like 74.
yeah.
And I think Last House on the Left is like 74. But also like in your grindhouse drive-in movies, in general, the blood is getting kicked up.
Yes,
Quite a
yes.
few notches. And you know, you're also getting into that Vietnam mood.
Yeah.
Where it's, you know, bleak endings and it seems like nihilism.
yeah, there's a lot of rape and a lot of blood and guts starting to show up, or at least the implication of blood and guts.
Yeah.
They just Evil Dead would also come out. It just got a lot darker and grittier and less.
Evil Dead was a little later.
less suspenseful.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But Dr. Phibes and Dr. Phibes Rise Again were very influential on Evil Dead and Seven and Saw
Sure.
because they were kind of these mastermind
Right.
setting up elaborate traps.
Yep.
And a very, very like a ingenuous, or what would you call it? Ingenuity
Yeah.
of invention with the contraptions
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
and the effects. Then in 73, Theater of Blood was kind of like a wicked humor. Like they gave him a chance to dabble into humor a little bit more, but it was still a horror movie.
Right.
And then his second marriage ended, and he married a woman named Coral Brown in 1974. I think it was and he would be with her until both of their deaths.
Wow.
He would often go back to the stage whenever he had the chance.
Yep.
This guy worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
sounds like it. Yeah.
You know, we've gone through all the endorsements. We'll talk about it on the Patreon. We'll go through some more that I found.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy had no problem. So like, yo, you want me to fucking hawk some Tilex? Like,
Yeah.
I'll hawk some Tilex. I'll hawk some children's vitamins.
Yeah. Well, it's an opportunity to get more art stuff going.
Yeah, like
And to even get enough money to be able to do stage time stuff.
exactly.
That was a lot of guys like Philip Seymour Hoffman was like that. He's like,
Hey, you do one for them. I do one for you, and I do one for me.
Right.
right, yeah.
He probably the performance of his lifetime was toward the end of his career, where he did a one-man show playing Oscar Wilde.
Oh wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
really?
That's perfect.
Called Diversions and Delights, which he did over 800 performances in 300 cities
Holy
between
shit.
1977 and 1980.
Oh my god.
So that's a show every couple of days for
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He was a frequent guest star on shows like The Carol Burnett Show, The Muppet Show, Hollywood Squares. Let's see. His film outfit began to slow in the 70s. His appearances on television and cameos and stuff were kind of the fun with horror guy. He was, you all remember me, I'm the
Yes,
creepy
right,
guy.
right,
Wink,
right.
wink. There was always this era of winking at the audience. The audience was always in on his performance. You know, like he wasn't
Yeah.
the jigsaw guy,
Yeah.
but it was always like, I kind of love to hate this guy, and I just love to love him as well.
Yeah, and there's a familiarity there, and doing the Carson stuff also brings that guy into the home,
Yeah.
and
Because listen, Christopher Lee wasn't doing that.
no, the accessibility, and honestly, like when you think about afterwards, in many ways, John Waters steps into that role.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
a great way to put it. And well, I've got a quote from John Waters here too. He would also he would be actually he would unite with Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and John Carradine in House of Long Shadows. You ever see that?
No. Was that a Hammer film?
I think it might have been Hammer, but it was
UK production?
Yeah, but it was very meta in that they all played kind of washed up horror icons.
Yes.
And they would be at they were at a party, like one of the there's a very famous scene where he calls Peter Cushing a bitch.
Wow.
And he's such a catty old bitch. they're these, horror guys at the end of their lives and careers, and it's worth a watch.
Okay.
House of Long Shadows. These guys were in so many fucking movies, dude.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
They all, Lee and Cushing played Dracula like 10 times.
Yeah. It's cool too because like there is so much there, but now like you have the benefit of so much film analysis where you can people can just tell you like, do this one.
Yeah.
Do this one. This is like the overlooked.
Yeah.
Like I saw that one that was, it was about Lugosi and Karloff.
That's the Black Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Cat's great.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also at the end, at least to the end of Lugosi's career.
Yeah.
He was another person I was considering doing a profile of because his life is, I don't want to say more interesting, but
Yeah.
a much more roller coaster of a life Bela Lugosi had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Came from Hungary, played Dracula on stage.
Oh yeah.
Then worked as like a fucking longshoreman over here, and then got Dracula, and then
the Ed Wood era.
Addicted to heroin, basically.
Yeah.
Just a crazy life. Maybe worth another. Maybe next Halloween.
As is Ed Wood as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his like I said, movie output began to slow in the 70s. Wasn't in great health. In 82, he provided the narration for an animated short film titled Vincent by an aspiring animator from the Pasadena area named Tim Burton. Are you familiar with it? Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Yeah,
Tim Burton? Beetlejuice.
Wait, don't say and then to introduce himself, this is probably the thing that he's most famous for an entire generation of kids who are now 40, which was doing the end monologue in Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
And
I think he knew nothing about it. I think it was just a gig.
It was just a gig, but boy, what a gig, huh?
Yeah, and like, isn't like something like he just does it like in one take or something, and like, and he's out of there.
He's fucking Vincent Price, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I rewatched
such a cool part of the song,
dude. It's the best part of the song.
Yeah, because it's like
the opening is very cool because it's like 15 seconds of just creaky doors and wolves howling.
Yeah,
and then it's. The song was not supposed to be a horror themed song. It was supposed to be called Starlight Night. Because it's upbeat, dude. The music's fucking jamming. It's fucking. There's nothing scary about the beat, the melody, nothing. And then
I always associate it as a dark song.
But it's only because the lyrics. But the music,
I think it has some foreboding aspects of the music, isn't there?
Well, the music video has some foreboding.
It's a 14 long minute music video.
That breakdown with Vincent Price definitely is eerie.
Yes.
Not just because of the narration. There's like one kind of through line.
That's added.
Yeah.
But like the original idea of the song with Quincy Jones.
Agreed, 100%, yeah.
That's just a blues
disco,
riff and beat.
Disco song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they fucking get John Landis, who just hot off American Werewolf in London, which is still incredible.
Insane.
They correctly call them ghouls. These are ghouls. These are not zombies. They're coming out of a graveyard, coming to get you, man.
Yeah.
And then you got the great werecat. He's a Michael Jackson werecat. Never seen anybody use that as a Halloween costume in my entire life. It's a fucking travesty.
Kind of wild.
It's a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
The house is over there in Echo Park, Angelino Heights. The Thriller,
Is that right?
The Thriller house down.
Okay.
No way.
Mhm.
Wow.
Eat some popcorn. Cat eating popcorn.
One of the most famous memes ever. Just my MJ eating popcorn in the theater.
Yeah.
Loving it.
And in the theater on the marquee, it's Vincent Price's Thriller.
Oh.
In the video, Vincent Price
Really?
in Thriller. And then
Damn.
a couple of the movies, it's like House of Wax, Mask of Red Death.
In the video?
Yeah, when they're at the theater.
No shit.
Yeah, they show the marquee and they show the box office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
It's all Vincent Price shit, except
Damn.
maybe like one thing. The other one might have been American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, it was probably Big Jugs Jubilee 4.
No, that's what you got from the you rented, John.
Oh, yeah.
Animal House is also John Landis.
Yeah.
Trading Places.
Mhm.
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
3. Wow.
Like I said, House of Long Shadows, Vincent by Tim Burton, and Vincent, who would later be in Tim Burton's great fairy tale,
Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands as the inventor.
And which has got to be 91?
90.
90.
So shot in 89.
and he dies shortly thereafter, doesn't he?
Like immediately after, yeah.
Wow.
Actually, like 2 years later.
That's so crazy.
He made 2 important films in 87, Whisper to a Scream, which is apparently a now cult classic, and the drama Whales of August, alongside Betty Davis, Lillian Gish, and Harry Carey Jr., nominated for an Independent Spirit Award. And in 91, right after Edward Scissorhands, we'll get back to Edward Scissorhands, but he was doing a personal documentary about him.
About himself.
About Vincent. Tim was
Oh, really?
doing a called Conversation with Vincent, in which he was just doing like interviews with him at the Vincent Price Gallery, but it was never completed and eventually shelved. But yeah, Edward Scissorhands is like, that was maybe like the second place I ever heard of Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's like the most beautifully tragic
Yeah.
scene ever for like, it's
A father
if
figure.
this father figure, this Frankenstein's monster thing. It's his gift to him is hands, which in House of Wax is what has been taken from him from the fire.
Right.
Like he talks
Oh my
about his hands
God.
being gone, and I
Holy
can no
shit.
longer be the sculptor anymore. And he
Wow.
is, I have a gift for you, Edward. And he's giving him this beautiful set of hands to replace the scissors
Mm-hmm.
that are his hands, and he dies as he's giving it to him, and he falls forward on Edward, and his scissor hands
Kill him.
rip up the hands that were made
Right.
for him, and then puncture him.
Fuck.
Final, like, just putting the nail in the coffin, or
Mhm.
scissors in the chest. Alice. They did a track with Alice Cooper. He did.
He did?
Yeah.
Wow.
ZZ Top in '96 has a track named Vincent Price Blues.
But they play guitar on that one.
He was
Probably a Zombies cover.
ghouls, bro. He suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, probably lung cancer looking back, and Parkinson's.
Oh.
His symptoms were so severe during Edward Scissorhands that this filming schedule needed to be shortened. It also contributed to his retirement from Mystery in 1989, which is an anthology series that he was hosting.
Oh, wow.
He died at age 82 on October 25th.
Oh,
The day after you hear this episode
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
is
wow.
the anniversary of his death in Los Angeles. His remains were cremated and his ashes were scattered off the coast of Point Doom in Malibu.
Yeah.
Malibu. I used to take people out here in the Winnebago.
He told his daughter, "Don't scatter me off the coast of Santa Monica. The water's already too polluted. Take me up there near Malibu where the Tony Stark fellow lives." His daughter, let's see, he left behind a legacy of more than 100 films, and were the two. I have conflicting reports of 900 to 2,000 television appearances.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think
Because then it's like
yes. Over 900 Hollywood squares.
Just Hollywood squares.
That's what I've been told.
Wow.
He has 2 stars on the Walk of Fame.
Wow.
I want to see 2 stars on the walk.
Damn.
One for film, one for TV. Authored hundreds of news columns. The Vincent Price Museum at East LA College. The Scholarship at Santa Fe. His
Who's
daughter.
in the square above me? I better not be that huge Dom DeLuise.
Jesus Christ. That man could eat.
He's gonna cascade through the fucking roof, and that man knows how to eat.
And then who's at the bottom? Lawton.
His daughter said, I think a lot of people have very fond memories of sitting around and scaring themselves watching Vincent Price movies, but I think the reason those movies worked was because always underneath that you saw this man was having fun. And he really had fun with his life. It was a life well lived. 2013, Deep Purple released Vincent Price, a single the band members dedicated to him.
Aww.
Director and writer John Waters composed a retrospective for Price on TCM, Turner Classic Movies, which recognized Vincent Price as the star of the month in October 2013 and showcased a selection of his most popular films, repeatedly broadcast on TCM to promote and compromise the presentations was this
Special
tribute.
Yeah.
John Waters,
Good for him, man.
dude. John Waters had oh god, what a sweetheart. Says the best stuff about him, like all these great memories he had with Vincent Price movies and going to see him at the revival theaters or the late night shows.
Well, it's that stuff too. That's like there's so much of queer awareness
absolutely
that comes from camp. Period.
yeah,
because
it's
it's like-
always a wink and a nod and something you
Yeah,
could never
it's
say
like-
outright.
it's like
And you
we're-
both have fruity mustaches.
And he's a bi guy.
Yeah,
And it just shows that if things are off doesn't mean they're not okay.
Right.
Which is the daughter's thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very important, Vincent, I think, to just misfit outcast stuff.
Misfits. Hey, Vincent
Yeah.
Price.
Return the fly.
With Vincent Price.
Writing a song about the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, return of the...
He's just out of shit by that.
Yeah.
Return of the fly with Vincent Price.
So at one point in this tribute, John Waters says this. One raise of his eyebrow, and you knew you were about to be thrilled by a debonair, evil, yet sympathetic villain. I can't imagine these films without Vincent Price in them. He was just a fine actor, never pretentious. The audiences that went to see him were all inclusive, from the poorest people to the richest. Nobody disliked him.
Yeah.
Vincent Price was classless, even though he was a classy, exaggerated gentleman.
Yes.
He gave upscale a good name, and he was always handsome, dignified, charming, and a little bit sinister. Leonard Maltin, and I'll end with this. Leonard Maltin said, Other actors may have made better movies, but few lived better lives or touched so many people with their warmth and gentility.
Yeah.
And that is the story of Vincent Price. It'd be funny if he farted.
Cut that.
Please cut that.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Isn't that sweet?
Very sweet. Very, very interesting. I do think, of course, to be truly classless and privileged is the classiest thing you can do.
Right. So that was the thing that I bit my tongue about saying earlier, which was that, like, this is what you would want somebody who grows up in privilege to be.
Yes. And also, it's hugely classy to not take yourself too seriously, which he clearly did not.
Right.
Had no problem hawking jellyless peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Yes, right.
Yeah, but there's a thing, too, where it's egoless, because you go like, well, I'm a good actor, I could do this, and I could do that, but I'm known for this, and then it's in the way of everything. It's like, I don't fucking give a shit. I like doing stuff.
Yeah.
I still do that other stuff.
Yeah.
So
People like it.
I know I do it. So why am I going to be tripping about being the macabre guy?
Yeah.
And he wasn't. I mean, I don't think to a degree where it interfered with him continuing to work and to fund other things in his life that he enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
But also a guy that really sees his life and living that way and eating and providing art to people that necessarily wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
Is all incredibly.
There's clips of him going to like East LA College. He's like, and he's talking to like these young artists. I came here to see you. I heard you. Like he's just like this sweet old man with a big Harry Carey glasses, but he looks like a fucking Dracula. You know, and he's just
that's a Dracula.
There's clips of him on Hollywood Squares, man. Like he was like as good as Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Very much having that. Ooh, is he bi? Is he like? You know, the host would ask the question and be like, "Oh, honey," you know, he was so catty and witty and smart and fast and funny.
Yeah,
and
just seemed to really not give a fuck.
I mean, I'm having a good time, dude. If you're like, he was so appreciative of his lot in life.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, listen, I'm sitting here as the fucking top left corner square playing tic-tac-toe with celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Yeah, that was the thing too, and I do respect it so much because in that way you can kind of to see a thing that it sort of predates the internet thing where it's like we want to see one person all the time, and instead other people's, you know, I've always talked about Burt Reynolds' agent was like, don't do fucking Carson that much, like you need to be more reclusive and seek, like, so like it's like it builds mystique about you, like Jack Nicholson. And he was like, no, I like doing it.
Yeah.
He was like, I like going on there and fucking around with those guys. I have a good time.
Yeah.
And
what's better for your career? Showing up and having fun with Carson?
Well, I understand their viewpoint as well.
Sure.
And it still works to this day. Like, you know, you're not going to see fucking Kim Kardashian on, Kimmel every night.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Definitely not on Kimmel. He's not going to.
But like, you know, it's
there are some actors who just they part of their brand is being unreachable.
Yes.
And then there are some whose brand is just being. Jeff Goldblum is one.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do a fucking series about weird shit in LA. Like,
but the thing is that brands.
I'll do booking.com.
Brands literally are based off of branding.
Yeah.
And brands expire. Companies go out of business. Yeah. Legacy is forever.
Yeah.
So like, if you're just like a guy that was cool and did cool stuff all the time, even if it you know, at the time, you know, for your elite Hollywood friends, they're like, why is he doing all that cheap shit? Like, Hollywood Squares was such a joke because it was almost like they had to scrounge around for the only celebrities willing to stay relevant.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way if you're not a fucking asshole.
And you don't,
right.
listen,
Sure.
Vincent Price's legacy is not Tilex.
No.
It's not Time Life, but like Vincent Price's legacy is House of Wax, The Fly, Mask of Red. Like, it didn't taint his legacy at all. All it did was remind people that Vincent Price is the shit.
Well, that's why his legacy is being Vincent Price, because people, so many generations saw him.
The name is so good too.
Yeah.
Vincent Price, vampire. Like the name is. There's no better name for a horror icon. Like, sure, there's Boris Karloff and Lon Chaney. I guess, but those movies, honestly, aren't as good as the stuff that he did.
Yeah.
And part of it is timing, but like, man, it's Vincent Price.
Yeah.
The name it's Vincent Price.
Well, and also he really built that brand, and I think, you know, I think he was very comfortable with looking pretty gay.
No problem.
Not like it.
Honey, it's calling people honey.
Yeah. And that is also really brave. And
there's nothing gayer than getting married 3 times.
I mean, and having a kid.
Having kids. He was dad. He was a dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Therefore gay.
Therefore gay. So yes, everyone's dad is gay, folks. If you don't know that. Yeah, I'm very, very impressed, and I really do like hearing about that sort of proto horror stuff, because I don't know a ton about it, even though I'm pretty into the horror genre. But I would like to visit a lot of those after this profile.
Yeah, I went back. I watched House of Wax. I've seen some of like Dr. Phibes, and Mask of Red Death. Mask of Red Death, it looks very, very cool. It's like into like this kind of
I remember
early Satanist stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I was just so obsessed with I Am Legend that I was like, I have to watch Last Man on Earth because I heard it was the most faithful. And I remember it being, kind of dragging or whatever, which might be, just movies of the time.
And the story is a
guy alone in a house. But I would like to revisit it again. But I remember it was
House on Haunted Hill.
It was also the first time I saw Vincent Price as, not gaudy Vincent Price, just as being an actor, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was real into that. He certainly had range.
And listen, the guy had a 60-year career.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people could do that. Especially coming from being like classically stage trained in England, and then coming and lasting through the era of like when your Brandos came in and like the Method guys, and, the 70s. To stay in the horror genre through the 70s and into the 80s is hard.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it changed when that Nam era came out and horror movies started becoming Halloween,
Bleak,
Last House on the Left, Texas Chainsaw,
Dawn of the Dead. Aaron didn't like Dawn of the Dead.
No, I think Night of the Living Dead is far superior than Dawn of the Dead.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what you think of Day of the Dead. Complete the trilogy, pal.
Which one is that?
That's the one,
third one.
Where they're like underground in a military base.
Oh, that's cool. I remember Return of the Living Dead 3. Do you remember that one where it went kind of Hellraiser? That who did Return of the Living Dead 3?
You saw 3, but not 2?
I'm sure I saw 2.
You can figure out what happens if you see the third one.
Return of the Living Dead 3 is done by Dan O'Bannon.
Yeah.
Dan O'Bannon, who did Alien.
Return of the Dead 1 and Return of the Dead.
Did he do both the first two?
So the deal is
Dan O'Bannon, and he also worked with Espiritu Warrior Jodorowsky.
That's right.
But Return of the Living Dead 3 is very much like a horror comedy. It's kind of sexy. There's a lot of nudity. It was early 90s, late 80s, and they were incorporating a lot of the Hellraiser, like torture.
Oh, really?
Like the self-harm stuff.
Weird.
It's really kind of hot.
Wow.
And a lot of like the military experiment gone wrong, weaponizing zombies, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the first Return of the Living Dead, I think, had like very heavy punk soundtracks.
Yes, and like
they
punk covers.
They talked. They specifically wanted brains.
Yes, specifically.
Yeah. But that was like the producer, which might have been O'Bannon.
Maybe.
And Romero had a falling out over the rights of Night.
So there was a split in the way the titles were formed.
Yeah, it was Living Dead was given to O'Bannon, I think, and Dead was given to Romero, and that's why you see the
split.
Yeah.
And there were specifically ghouls in Night of the Living Dead. They were referenced as ghouls. They were not referenced as zombies until the last half of Dawn of the Dead, because that character, the black character, talks about his grandfather who was into
a witch doctor.
Into voodoo.
Yeah.
And he talked about, he says, when there's no room in hell.
Iconic line.
It's iconic. It's on the poster. It's the first time they reference them as zombies, even though they have nothing to do. They're not zombies at all. They are just revenants.
Yeah.
We could get into the whole nomenclature thing in a Patreon.
Yeah, sure.
Should we wrap it up?
Sure. On the Patreon, I have a clip of. I found a clip of Vincent Price and Peter Lorre in a Roger Corman film written by Richard Matheson.
Is that The Raven?
I won't say.
Oh, folks, you got to tune into Patreon if you find out.
Sorry.
We'll have some more Vincent Price stuff going on. Aaron, it was excellent. I really loved that.
I just had such a joy, like, seeing how happy people were to talk about him.
Yeah.
And, like, his daughter was like, his funeral was not a memorial. It was a celebration. We all just had a good time.
That's nice.
Man,
yeah.
that's so sweet.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Oh. 82?
Years old? Yeah, 82,
Yeah.
83.
Damn. Well, that was great, man.
Thank you,
Thank
Aaron.
you very much.
I had a great time diving into somebody that I'd always really liked pop culture-wise.
Yeah.
And then just learning that he was a fucking great guy. Really was very, very sweet.
Yeah, and a unique, distinct career and a way of handling that was equally distinct and unique.
The legend, the master of the macabre. Like, there's no other person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and also the duality, which is like this thing too of like a horror thing where you go like he's completely Dr. Jekyll in the day. He's doing all these wonderful things for everyone.
Yeah,
and just being this great guy, and then his alter ego is like, you'd be like, oh, that guy is like really cool and like extremely classy and learned and just a Renaissance man, as you said. It's very fascinating. I had absolutely no idea. And I really want to watch a lot of his stuff now. So we're gonna fuck off to Patreon. If you're a Patreon subscriber, that'll be out in a few days. If you're not, get on it and give us $5 a month for 4 extra shows a month. Or it's your ass. I'm going to say goodnight. I love you. Aaron, great job again.
Thank you.
My name is John Fahey.
I am sunny side up.
Remember so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
So good. Isn't it so good?